Foundations closing. There were actually times when I wondered whether or not I was ever going to get here. And now that I'm here, I realize that it's really just the beginning of the next iteration. To this point, within the foundations, I've provided a series of videos that talk about systems and systems thinking as a foundation for the development of the systemic perspective process. There were a number of videos, one for each segment of the systemic perspective process itself, and for each segment of that process there was an example provided using this fictitious company called Network Magic and the difficulties that it faced as a high-tech startup company, being far more successful than I think that they were ready to be. The questions and answers from all of these videos will be surfaced either from the emails that you send me or through discussions initiated on LinkedIn in Systems Thinking World, specifically through the Systemic Perspective Evolving Thoughts discussion. The appropriate questions and answers will get posted to the appropriate wiki focus pages, or the pages with the relevant videos on them that are most closely associated with whatever the questions are. I said that while I finally got to what at one point I thought was the end, I realized that it is in fact really just the beginning, because while I've managed to create a video for each one of the segments, some of them are really rough, and the whole sequence needs to be revised and elaborated to a greater extent and redone, and that probably never ends. And not only does the work on this sequence never end, the foundations is only one part of 5 as far as I know at the moment. And while I was in a dilemma for 12 months trying to figure out how to differentiate between foundations and development, it is now clear that the development component needs to be a set of worked examples where each one of the examples is a representation of the development of a systemic perspective with regard to that particular situation at hand. The archetypes, modeling and simulation with Insight Maker, and virtual systemic inquiry. The web content for those segments of the series are in fact completed. Most of the modeling and simulation with Insight Maker has been converted into the 1+1 = format, and the rest of it will continue to be developed as I can get to it, so that the next steps as I see them are to try and finish up the modeling and simulation with Insight Maker component, because it's close to being finished, revise the elements of the foundations piece, and begin work on the development segment. So I hope you have found this development of a systemic perspective informative and thought-provoking. Look forward to your comments and questions as a basis for figuring out how to continue to move it forward. Take care. Bye.